So, at 4:29 p.m, October the 21st, 2015, Marty and Doc and Jennifer travel to the future. That day is soon, and if you're watching it on the day, it's today, and if you're watching it after the day, then it's in the past. That's a headfuck for you. Back to the future is now in our past. Yeah, so 30 years since the original film. Excuse me, bloody hell. 30 years since the original film, and 26 years since Back to the Future Part 2 came out, and we saw a glimpse of the future, and what they predicted was true. What was true, what was not true, what's in development, the idyllic future, as it were. Oh dear, I mean, this day has been coming for, a long time. And I always used to think, that it looks so far in the future when you look back and when you originally watched the film. When I originally watched the film, you never thought 2015 would ever clock around, and sure enough, it has, and it's here, and it's now. And for the majority of people watching this video, like I've already said, it's now in the past. It's a headfuck, it really is. But I'm here today just to have a chat with you about one of my favourite film franchises as well. And the original, for me, this is controversial, but the first one is the best for me. And the second one is actually the least best for me. That's a personal preference, everyone's got their own, and that's fair enough. But it's significant. It is significant because of the predictions that were made and how far they travelled into the future back then. It must have seemed so distant when they filmed it in 1989. And when, it had a significant effect on me, Back to the Future, because it was the first film that I ever saw at a cinema. 8 years old when the original came out in 1985. And my father took us to the Regal Centre in Boston, Lincolnshire. Don't believe it's there anymore, but there was a cinema there, and it was the first film I ever sat in a cinema on a big screen and saw and watched. And so it's an important film for me for that reason, and it's kind of one of the reasons why I got a love for sci-fi, and I got a love for the comedy and the comedy sci-fi mixture, and maybe Back to the Future is the reason why I adore Red Dwarf so much, because of that fusion of comedy / a little bit of drama and sci-fi. And I know a lot of people share that feeling. It's one of those films and one of those trilogies that you very rarely hear people say they don't like it or they haven't seen it. You do the occasional people, of course, but most people who have seen Back to the Future say it's good, it's great, it's brilliant, it's awesome. All the praiseworthy words under the sun, under the metaphorical sun. And it's a gelling film, isn't it? It's a series of films where people can talk and discuss and talk about the metaphysics of it and the causality and time travel possibilities and unravelling how time travel actually works. None of us will ever find out for real. We can go by theories, obviously, Einstein, theory of relativity and stuff like that. But it's all pie in the sky science fiction, and that's why we love it, because you can make up anything you want. You make up anything you want to. So for me, it's one of those films which is extremely important, and I think to a lot of people it is. Michael J. Fox at his very best, Christopher Lloyd at his very best. Kind of the film that shot them to fame, as it were. And if you look at they're still fresh now. You look back on them now, and even though parts of them still a bit cheesy and tacky, you still think that's such a great film. It's so well done, and it doesn't take itself too seriously, and that's good, because if it did, it wouldn't have the same effect. And all the mirror image of comedy with the two Martys and two Docs, and it's again something that I think Red Dwarf took from. I'm sure they did. Grant Naylor actually go on record and say they do borrow ideas from other science fiction. So it's not a surprise if they did sort of look at Back to the Future back in the 80s when they were writing Red Dwarf for the original, and thought a few ideas there might be good. So what do we have in reality that you see in Back to the Future Part 2? Not a lot, really. Probably the best things are things like digital devices and flat screen, multi-screen things on your wall. Google Glass, I mean, there's a kind of version of Google Glass in there as well. Them kind of things exist. Drones, they exist. Unfortunately, hoverboards don't yet. Not to the mass market anyway, and I think if they did, they would be the ultimately covered into red tape and bureaucracy. It wouldn't get past health and safety, would there? There'd be broken necks and legs all over the shop. You got the magnetic, obviously, demo prototypes that they're doing at the moment, the one with the fan as well. But it's all experimental stuff, and is it ever going to get to what we see in the film? Probably not. And even if it did, it probably wouldn't get released to the public anyway, because like I said, they'd all be killing each other, killing themselves probably. Flying cars, again, same reasons. It wouldn't happen. Even if we had the technology for flying cars now, you just wouldn't pass. It wouldn't get past health and safety and red tape. Not in the modern world. That's one thing they didn't predict in the modern world, is ridiculous amount of health and safety and bureaucracy bollocks that we have nowadays. But if someone said to you, "Oh, here's a car, and by the way, it flies, and you can fly anywhere you want," do you think that's going to get past the people that are going to allow it, the licensing people and that kind? No, fuck off. They would. If the car was never invented in the first place, and someone came to you today and said, "Here's a vehicle that runs on an explosive fuel and can travel in excess of 150 miles an hour," that probably wouldn't even be passed. It definitely wouldn't. If you're fucking on your bike, people would be killing themselves, like they do. But of course, that happened years ago, before all that kind of stuff, and the cars have just developed through the ages, and this is never going to get to the point where you've got flying cars, unfortunately. Here he is. I'll show you this. This is my model of the DeLorean, the DMC-12, Back to the Future Part 2 version with Mr. Fusion on the back. And it's a neat little model, brought to us by Welly Boots. It's not perfect. It's, from a distance, excellent. From a distance, it's really good. Die-cast model with the old gull wings. Mask. The paintwork is not great, to be honest. It's okay. It's a little bit rough around the edges. I suppose that gives the DeLorean character, because the DeLorean is a bit of a battered old piece of shit, isn't it? The moulding of the lights ain't great. And unfortunately, my one has the sticker, the out of time sticker on the back, which technically is incorrect, because it should have the mirror barcode on the back, what you see in the film. So I know I'm being pedantic, but that sticker was also offset and slightly torn, which I've repaired when it came out of the box. So weren't happy with that. And inside, you probably won't be able to see. Have a look, see if you can see. I don't know if that's going to focus. We'll see that if it didn't. You've got the flux capacitor in there, but it's not painted. What? You know? The time circuits are in there. But if this is the Part 2 one, surely get the wheels to fold in. Get the wheels to fold in like a transformer, so you can... It's an okay model. I'd say on the shelf it looks good, but I suppose it's best looked from a distance. The box is really nice. And there's the three of them. There's obviously the Mark 1 from the first film, and obviously the one with the train one as well. They're all on the back here. There you go. See, with the time circuit control microchip replacement on the bonnet there for the and of course the white walls, 50s tyres, 50s wheels. So it's a nice little trinket to have on the shelf. It's smart looking from a distance, like I said. Not perfect. It could be a lot better. A little bit like that as well. Certainly the film is higher quality. So, what are you doing for Back to the Future Day? Do you care? You should. If you're a movie buff, you should. It's because now we are, like I said at the beginning of this video, we are now at the point where the future of Back to the Future is now in our past, and it's, well, all those years have flown by. It does seem like that now, and there's never going to be, I don't think there's ever going to be a film or a film series like Back to the Future. And I tell you what, Hollywood, and if you're listening, Hollywood, do not, and I repeat this, do not remake it. Do not reboot it. Leave it alone. And that's a bloody warning from every Back to the Future fan that's out there, and that's a lot of us. Do not remake it. We don't want it remade. Keep it as it is, because it's brilliant as it is. And if you are watching this in the past, come back to the future with me. I can't do it. I can't do things like that. I hope you had a good Back to the Future day. Great Scott. Never bug out.